Leadership workshop. I will inshallah share with us not our effort in applying, but our success story for winning the grant, inshallah. That is one of the things that we want to highlight with you here. So, Elijah Portugal, are you ready? I mentioned earlier that part of what we want to do here is to explain some of the challenges we have seen with different chapters to make sure that we leverage on our success and failure to see what we mitigated at different chapter level. So Elijah Portugal will come forward and present it. Right, just Elijah Portugal will come forward and
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm not an expert, but inshallah, whatever knowledge Allah gave me, I'll try to share it. So if you need additional information I don't have, then I'll be able to research it and I'll get back to you. If you ask any question that I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know about it, but I'll research and I'll get back to you. The topic is about, I'll just pick up on what the chairman just said, the last thing about documentation. Did you already hear me very well? I said documentation. We are in a country where documents count. If you don't have it, you ain't in a big trouble. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, I'll tell you like it is. Because by show of hand, please. How many masjids is represented here, please? How many of us have 501c3? Now, another question. Do you remember what you filled on that application?
Does he have a copy of it? Does he have a copy of it?
No, I'm going to, because by asking questions, I'll be able to answer most of the things I'm going to present it, because I cannot just be talking and then it's just going in and out and I don't comprehend it. To have a non-for-profit, I'm putting a non-for-profit together now, including, what do you call it, a religious organization and social organization, because they are all entitled to 501c3. And then 501c3 has different categories. Thrifty organization, bingo organization, all those are 501c, but the sections are different. But the section I'm going to focus on 501c3, 501 bracket C bracket 3. Now, when you want to apply for 501c3, they will ask you to submit your certificate of organization, incorporation, your bylaw, or your constitution. And that form, maybe, excuse me, let me just, I have a covered form. Very important, on part 1, they ask you for your name, your registration number, and when you are incorporated and which state. You have a website. There are more states. and then they move down, they ask you to present on part 3.1, right, on your certificate of incorporation or bylaw, what section of it that actually project or present your objective, goal, and purposes. They ask you to present that. The reason why I asked you, do you remember? Because when you have that and something else happens, you cannot just go and change at will. Because if you have a certain corporation, let's say 15 years ago, most of the officers are no longer there. What do you do? How do we operate? Okay. Now that's what I said. Do you have a copy of that form? If you don't have it, you go back to square one, right? Then we don't pray. We pray for Allah for nothing bad to happen to us. We wait for the best thing. But IRS doesn't pray. In IRS language, they use the word church. They don't use mosque. Church. But when you go back to the ruling, they say church may cover all other religious denominations. You can call yourself a devil worshiper, whatever I say. Church covers that. Under that, Muslim covered under that. Now, I ask a question. You have 5163. Do you remember what's in it? If you don't, I will ask every one of us now to go back and pull it out and let it be on top of every document you have. Then, when you have your 5163 and it is granted by the IRS, your sum will be exempt by filing from 990 or 990 and your sum you have to file that are not within your non-for-profit objective. You have to file a tax return and you report and pay tax on that amount. You can go and have businesses. Now,
so one thing to highlight there that we have seen, because many of our chapters, after 3 years, after 2 years or 4 years, right, we change the leadership team, we change the executive team, right, we change the president, we change the secretary, then there is no continuity. You don't know what the last administration did. Or you don't even have files, you don't have records. We also experience that people relocate from one chapter to the other. They relocate from one town to the other. So continuity has been a challenge among many chapters. So the experience we had at the national level was because the immediate past administration, they did not keep records of what was happening. And that was what led to the 501c3 being revoked. So, and the new administration came in without knowing what was going on. At that point in time, they now found out that the license was, except the standards have been revoked. Then we have that. What we went through reinstating that license was more than what we went through having the license. And that is what we want to highlight here. We as an organization today, we should, if your president is not here, if your secretary is not here, you want to go back home and make sure that you are aware of your status as an organization. The way we were doing business 5 years ago, 10 years ago is not how we're going to do it now or how we're going to do it in 5 years' time. The essence of sharing this with you repeatedly at the national level is to let you, to sensitize you, to make sure that at the local chapter level, individual local chapter level, we know what's going on. Because when we need it for grant, when we need it for government benefit, when we need it as an organization, we don't have it, right? That is not good for us. Please.
Yeah. To continue. See, this is a sample of Form 1093. Okay, everybody says Section 501c3, but you have to file this Form 1093 in order for you to get to Section 501c3.
Is it 1093 or 1023?
10 what?
10.
Hold on, I'm sorry, 1023. Thank you very much. 1023. I stand correct. 1023. They will send you a sample. Then, okay, your 501c3 has been approved, and this is your exam. I'm going to go back on this. This application you fill out is very, very important. It contains your organization information that you think you have. Don't just go and put anything there, please. Because they ask you your financial, and they will ask you for any member that contribute more than 5%, you have to present their list, name. Because if you say, for example, you say, well, your annual gross is 20,000, and you say multiply by a percentage. So any member that contribute more than that percentage, if I have time, I'll go through it. You have to list their name and submit it with the application. If you do, make sure go back and retrieve it and let this application, not the application, let it be at your fingertips. And then know it like you know your Quran, because they're going to ask you for it. Non-for-profit organizations are not allowed to lend money. You cannot loan money to anyone. Except you can loan money if in your application there's a section there that's okay, do you want to lend money? You say yes. But provide information of that individual organization you want to lend money to. Now, the question is this. 1 minute. When we are filling this application, we don't know we're going to lend money to Elijah Okwetubo, right? Very good guy, but let's loan him the money. No, you can't do that. Because it was not here. How you can do this? Nobody will know. What? We pray they don't know. But what happened if? It's a problem. Now, the crucial point is your financial record that you presented here. There's a section here of the financial. Then I will urge every one of us to make sure that your masjid has a financial statement. Okay? Financial statement, source of revenue and expenses. How you want to call it, it's up to you. I'm not going to advise you on that, that's up to you. But make sure you are within the law. Because if you don't have that, it's a problem. But why are we talking about 501c3? It's very, very important. For example, what the chairman just said, if you want to apply for grant, they ask you for documentation. And they ask you for everything. But you don't have it, you will not get it. Or if they might not come after you, but they might eventually come. But you're on the radar.
A lot of us, when we register for these things, they don't register as masjid. We register as Nigerian Muslim Association of something. So, can you highlight the distinction between registering as a place of worship or as an association?
Okay, thank you. Clarify that will be your bylaw. You have your bylaw, you have your constitution, your mission statement. Okay. You will say objective to propagate Islam. Since you have that there, it doesn't matter if it's a Ahmed Okwetubo non-for-profit organization. But we say our mission is to establish a place of worship, not an objective, to establish a place of worship, to propagate Islam, to ensure, to assist brothers and sisters in Islam in terms of the need to the extent the law permitted us. You let's settle down one day and you will classify as a religious organization because your certificate of incorporation, your bylaw, what you call your mission statement already clarify that. Include anything to do with worship. Establish period of worship, promoting Islam, you are not an religious organization. Is that clear enough? Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wow.
I just want to have two comments to what the board chairman said about Houston experience, about the Department of Homeland Security. When we had the opportunity to apply for the Department of Homeland Security grants, we took the challenge and we did what we need to do. And the essence of the grant was to kind of curtail or reinforce our security apparatus. Meaning that because it's a place of worship, we don't want somebody else to just have unrestricted access when people are practicing or worshiping or in the masjid. So that is the essence of that money to be given out. Why we did not get it was simply because we are just a new entrant into the ocean. There have been some other organizations, Jewish organizations and other minority organizations that were already in the queue before us. Everything went on fine for us. But the most critical element here, that the litmus test that any of us will fail is, our religious organization is, we do not have external auditor. Besides having your own statement of affairs, you have a own record, third-party auditor need to look at your book. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't matter what you submit, they're not going to look at it. Because third-party auditors simply made that your paperwork is certified.
Your books and records. Your
books and records and everything is certified by independent body. Because we do not want to spend money. And then when we are talking of independent audit, it's not, if you have a CPA within your community, hey, it's like you can write anything you want me to write. Preferably, that should be an external, somebody that has nothing to do with your business. Assalamu alaikum.
Question?
Yeah, so let me quickly make a comment to what Alaji Okwekwo talked about. Another area we have seen us deficient, significantly deficient in record keeping when he was talking about our financial statement, right? And he talked about, the money we collected. We have not, in most cases, we have not done a very good job in documenting money collected, right? And then reciprocating that gesture by acknowledging to the donors. Meaning that if I'm donating $5, not $5,000, $5 to your organization, and I'm going to report that in my tax return, right, as a charitable contribution, then there's a new IRS rule effective this year, that there should not be, so my check is not sufficient as proof. If I wrote a check to Muslim Mumini as $5 to Muslim Mumini as donation, that check is not sufficient anymore for IRS audit purposes. Muslim Mumini owes me a letter, a receipt, a documentation, apart from and in addition to my check. And we found out that many of our organizations, they are not doing that. If or when audited, right, I will have to come back to Muslim Mumini and say, give me a receipt in order for me to support my IRS audit. If Muslim Mumini has not done a good job documenting that, Muslim Mumini will not be able to give me that letter, or someone in the organization will have to fabricate a letter. The risk of doing that, if or when audited, is that if IRS has any reason to question that letter, they will now go back to Muslim Mumini. Even when you don't file your tax return, you are putting your organization at risk. We don't want to put our organization at risk. Anyone that has donated money to National Council, NCNMO, in the past year should have received a receipt an acknowledgement apart from your check. If you have done that, if you have donated money and you have not received a receipt, please ask. Leadership of local chapters, please do the same. Because this is a situation, we are getting to the era when IRS is paying a lot of attention to Islamic or Muslim organizations, and we have to be ready for that. It takes just flagging one of us, and all of us, may Allah forbid, will get in trouble. And that is the essence of this session, making sure.
Another thing, I just want to echo what he said. The letter remains in addition to your check. Okay, your check is not sufficient enough. Okay. Now, please, I'm advising every one of you, we know our culture. We know how we can pressurize somebody to do something. Okay. Please, don't do it. If you want to follow our deen, let's follow to the letter. Don't pressure anybody to do something that will go against the law. Because it said clearly in the Quran that, okay, you know, obey Allah, and then those who are in authority. Now we are talking IRS is in authority. Papa Ewo, Joe move any problem, Joe to the Moshashi in about 10,000 later. Don't do it for that job. Tell her, sorry. It's $1 to give each child letter for $1. Talk about that also, but we still can't do it. Just they are very ferocious about this. Not only what you call it, your check or your letter, they don't even honor the letter. They say go and get a receipt. They need to from the masjid. Then what the masjid said, masjid wait, we can't give you a receipt. That letter is not. So come back. Then why did you entertain that in the first place? Please, if you've been doing this, stop it now. And then don't pressure.
This is a problem because many of our massages, I did not keep any records when you gave me that money. So there's a problem. So if you cannot fix what happened in the past, let's fix this going forward.
Please. And I'm speaking, I'll say like, I'm speaking to our imam. Please. Our financial record is very important. And the government, they are the government is very simple, very easy. They give you a lot of loopholes. There's a lot of loopholes there that you can do that, okay, you don't have to get into the law. All what you need to do, get an expert to assist you so that you are on a straight path. So that, okay, you don't fall into that trap. The essence of this presentation, as I say, I'm not an expert. If you ask any question that I don't know, I'll be able to research it, and before the platform is over, I'll give you an answer. Now, I'm going to go back to this. It is not that you cannot take over any other non-for-profit. You can, but you have to do what? You have to mention it before, not after. Whether you file. If you don't have it, ask IRS. If you're lucky, they will say, if you're not lucky, they say it's more than 7 years, they might say, well, sorry, we don't keep any record that long. Okay? And your exempt letter, it tells you either if you have to file from 990 easy, or e-card, 990 e-card. It tells you how to keep them together with your certificate of incorporation, your bylaw and constitution. So I'm advising you, get a corporate kit, a not-for-profit corporate kit that has all this section, and you put it in there. When officers change in hand, make sure the handover follow through. As the board chairman of the board mentioned, for Nigerian National Council, we are not a masjid, but we are a consortium of masjid members. So we are bound to file from 990 every year. What happened in the past is that they filed it, but the administration that came in, well, probably maybe they're too busy, so they neglected for 3 years. That's what's led to that. But if you are required to file it, and then you didn't file for the past 3 years, it's not that, okay, maybe you say it's revoked already. There's no if or but, or call them no. If you don't file for 3 years, consecutive 3 years, it's revoked. But you can go back. It takes a lot of time and effort and pain to get it reinstated. Before I conclude.
So my question is, earlier on when you were talking about masks changing executives of their leaders. So in a situation like that, what are we expected to do in order to make sure there is continuity and the maybe IRS or the government agency is properly updated, they have the right information at the right time, not in the same period of time?
My experience has been you cannot go back and do what you call amendment. You cannot go and amend this. But in your certificate of your corporate kits, you're supposed to maintain the minutes of the board and everything, right? And then when you have a minute, like okay, you have a meeting, like you have an election, all those supposed to be in that document folder. That's corporate. I don't think we do it. Okay? If I ask you now, you have a meeting last 3 months, give me the last month 3 minutes. We can find this is the process because they ask you here that okay, are those officers elected or not? If they say they're elected, you already been covered. It's right here. Okay? It's not. It's right here. When you say those officers are elected, and everybody, because they have, it's right here. I mean, it's section, I think section E, what they call churches. It's actually how many members do you have? Do you have a doctrine? Do you have a religious book? What time do you worship? Can anyone come to your congregation and worship? What do you charge them? And so everything is right. They cover everything. So as soon as for the question you asked me, it's right here. It says those officers are elected officers. You're safe. But the minutes, when you have a meeting, okay, there's an election coming up, and then through selection process, election process is now the president, Brother Laji who is now General Secretary, Laji Masha is now the Financial Secretary. Make sure that it is recorded and kept in that way. So, yes.
No, change executives, you keep the record. What are the cases where you have to maybe file an amendment to your
Well, I haven't, in my practice, I haven't come across where you file an amendment to your 501c3. No. It's not a tax return. Okay? It's an application form that ready to send in. It's like when you are paying your social security. You cannot go and file an amendment, okay, my social security number, my name has changed. No.
Amendment to the
amendment to application, you can. But your bylaw, you said in your bylaw, they ask you in your bylaw, go this section of your bylaw that show your purposes, and then they ask you that section, maybe section part 10 or 11, where you have to do a narrative. They ask you, give us a narrative of what you'll be doing now and what you're going to be doing in the future. They ask you there. Then if you say, come to me, find somebody else. There's somebody else who can do it better than me. Please. So, any other question before we conclude? Yes.
As an organization like a Muslim, we are a non-profit organization, right? And we're supposed not to loan anybody, individual, right? So what of in case of welfare committee, and then we have a brother has a problem, come to the welfare committee of the organization, needing money. So in that kind of situation, are we going to give him money as a loan, and he promised to pay back? So now, are we not going to be helping our brothers anymore? Because I just need you to expatiate more about that one.
Because as a non-profit organization, you are not a Muslim or religious organization. You are not a money lending business.
That's true.
Okay?
Yeah.
You are not. You are not a thrifty organization. A thrifty organization, thrifty club, all those, what do you call it? Those clubs, saving clubs, they are not for profit, but their purpose and objective is what? But our purpose and objective is to assist our brothers and sisters in Islam to get them. We can donate. Not just we can donate. You can donate. But donation and lending are two different things. However, there's a way you can do it where there is fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within everybody. Then maybe you can assist them and then they will fulfill their promise. But that's up to individual.
One of the ways we resolved it is this. We created another 501c3 specifically for assisting people. But the caveat in that is this. Those who are officers